Welcome guys, in this video I'll show you everything you need to know about the new PUBG news state that will soon be released this year and could replace PUBG Mobile. I'll also talk about my predictions on its availability in India, which is very likely to happen. But first, make sure you leave a like if you want to see more content like this. Let's begin. What we know so far is that this game is not an update to PUBG Mobile. It is a standalone game that may even replace it. An early version has been set to become available in early March, and players with Android phones can pre-register right now directly on Google Play. However, for players on iOS, there's no date available for pre-register yet, but it has been announced that it will be out soon, and when the new date is announced, I will leave it in the comments. Also, the game will no longer be developed by Tencent. This time, it'll be developed by PUBG Studio and Krafton Games, who are responsible for the original PUBG on PC. This decision indicates excellent news for players, because we now know that most of the company's resources are focused on optimizing the game for mobile devices, unlike the original concept which started on PC and was then ported to mobile. Tencent was among the first to enter the field of Battle Royale type games on mobile devices. Therefore, difficulties throughout the innovative process are to be expected, which manifested in multiple complaints from players about the monetization system, hackers, and bugs within each update that plagued the game experience. Personally, I think Tencent made a good effort with the resources they had available at the time. However, let's hope that the new developers have learned from Tencent's mistakes in order to create a much more popular and enjoyable game with the new Unreal Engine 4. A new Battleground. As you can see, there's a completely new aesthetic that represents a futuristic style, which makes sense considering that the game is set in the year 2051. It's also mentioned that some time has passed in the PUBG world since the original Battlegrounds events that transpired in Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, and Vikendi. The new map that we can see in the video is called Troy, which supposedly will be full of clues that will lead you to know what's happened in that place. It's also been mentioned that there will be new strategies and interactive objects that will help you discover the best way to take different fights, plus cool features like combat flips, drones, futuristic ballistic shields, and in-game weapon customization. This leads me to think that the special events in PUBG Mobile were some kind of experiment to find out which features players enjoy the most. Also, weapon customization seems a bit interesting to me since it would change the dynamics from looting houses to simply be able to use a customization kit on your weapon to give it performance improvements and even grenade launchers. Although, I hope that the looting dynamic is not abandoned since there are times that at the beginning of a game, I enjoy fighting with the minimum gear to test my skills in extreme situations. Now, the main map that we see in the video is highly detailed and it has been mentioned that it's 8 square kilometers in size, just like Erangel. It's possible that it's a redesign, but it's most likely brand new. However, I hope they don't abandon Erangel because it is the most iconic and representative map of PUBG. Next-gen mobile graphics. Some of the information I found talks about completely new graphics that will give you a better visual experience in the game. Specifically, they mention a new technique in global illumination rendering, which has to do with the interaction that light has with 3D objects in the game. This will be of better quality and will look more realistic, which will improve the immersion of players in the world of PUBG. But we'll have to wait and see how good the optimization of the game is in order to maintain optimal performance on low-end devices, which is important in order to reach a high number of players. Fortunately, they also mention that the experience will be stable and smooth, which makes me optimistic. Optimized for mobile. The global success that PUBG Mobile has when compared to the original PUBG PC is due to the majority of the world's population having more access to mobile devices rather than expensive and powerful computers. So it makes sense that the main focus is on the mobile market, which has shown much more potential. Therefore, this new game is primarily optimized for mobile devices instead of being ported from a computer like PUBG Mobile was. What the developers are telling us on this topic is that we can expect the same combat experience that made the original PUBG so popular, making it accessible to new players while also having a steep learning curve for those who like a challenge. Here you can see some screenshots of the game itself. In my personal opinion, there's lots of visual pollution, so balance is needed in the general color aesthetic, and there's also a need for more detail in the textures. But you have to bear in mind that this is an early version and there will be many improvements in the future because there is information that says that the official release will be at the end of the year. Also, something that we can notice in the screenshots is that there is a new button to aim in third-person mode, which allows you to have this perspective, which will give you more precision in your sprays without losing visibility at close range. But equally, the ADS button is right next to it, so you won't lose this function. Here we can see how it looks like when aiming in third person. Availability in India. The early version of this game will be available globally, but unfortunately the PDF indicates that it will not be available in China, Vietnam, or India. However, India is the country with the highest number of PUBG Mobile players in the world, and this is largely the reason for its worldwide success. Without availability in this region, the global success of PUBG New State is unlikely. Personally, I think that there's a very high probability that this game will eventually be available in India. There is no way for developers to ignore this very important region, so I think the motive for the temporary unavailability is for regulatory reasons. So my personal prediction is that PUBG New State will be available in India for its official launch in late 2021. It will no doubt give it a huge boost to reach global success. I encourage you to comment what improvements or features you'd like to see on PUBG New State, and if you haven't seen the recently released trailer, here it is.